Fupa.
And
Okay.
Harmonica.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, what were you saying, Alex?
Well, like the golden era of New York was
No, the
definitely
other
the
thing, the
70s.
accents.
The accent thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering if I had an accent, and apparently you just don't know it, because like it's the accent that is used like in movies and shit.
I've heard that like it's okay. So I just looked it up. It's called General American, Standard American English. It's like a neutral accent, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but people in California are supposed to like elongate their words, like I am right now, or say like a lot.
Yeah, and they have like nasally voices.
Do they?
Yeah.
Is that part of an accent? I thought you're just born with a nasally voice.
No.
I like Harmonica's accent.
I have
He
an
has
accent.
like
A
he has an
little bit.
old-fashioned Boston accent.
I think that's untrue.
He has like the
And
accent of like somebody from the old world. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I just get that the only thing that I hear is I sound like a fucking like a cheap Seth Rogen. I don't like that one.
I would probably be offended if someone told me that I sound like Seth Rogen.
One time I was really sick, and remember Tristan, right, from high school?
Kristen
Retza.
Mezzo?
Yeah, Fetzo. So
Yeah.
I was really, really sick, and I apparently sounded exactly like Seth Rogen. And every time somebody, it was on Xbox Live, every time somebody joined the party, they'd be like, "Can you stop doing that voice?" It's like, okay. I think it's because my nose is stuffed and I was like coughing a lot, which I'm pretty sure is just like how you sound like Seth Rogen. And then you have to just do the little like laugh that he does too.
Then you have to have a really boring voice and only do
I don't even
movies
know how to
about
do it.
weed.
Yeah.
He doesn't only do movies about weed.
You know,
Yeah, Knocked
I
Up was
feel like
about a
that's
baby.
untrue.
There was
Yeah.
weed in that movie. Is there a Seth Rogen movie where weed isn't involved?
There's a
There's
Seth Rogen
that
movie where
one
he's not a
movie
degenerate.
with the police officer mall cop thing. They do like Adderall, but I don't think they
No,
smoke
they
the
smoke a
reefer.
lot of weed in that one too.
Oh.
Because
Well,
there's
well,
parts where they're
there's
like walking around and they're just like smoking a joint, like in the cart. Observe and
what's
report.
that one movie with Kim Jong Un?
Oh, that'd be pretty rare. James Franco and Seth Rogen, no weed references?
I don't think there were, but I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong.
Did you watch that movie?
Yeah, it was pretty bad actually.
I thought it was pretty bad too.
Didn't Obama
I didn't watch
like
Oy.
tell people
It
who
looked kinda
watched
cringy.
it that they're freedom fighters?
I mean, it's like an American duty to watch that movie, to just bully.
Is it?
To bully North Korea? I think you're supposed to watch it. I think if you don't watch it, you're allowing North Korea to be terrorists.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like there's nothing wrong. Like, what if we were the bad guys?
Alright. It's really insightful.
You never know.
Do you?
Someone in a thread I was reading a while ago was talking about how North Korea has some sort of scare like this every year, and every year it ends up in them receiving foreign aid.
Yeah, it's like a bait for them. Like they do this so they can get foreign aid.
What about AIDS?
It's for foreign aid. Like they do this every year, and then when they come to like the table to negotiate, like, hey, yeah, sorry, we won't bomb everything, but you just got to give us like money for food and stuff.
Oh. You ever watch that documentary of those guys like that have like cataracts?
Yeah, it's the National
Yeah.
Geographic one. It's a pretty good one, honestly. Probably one of the better ones because it isn't too like North Korea, country of murdering sociopaths. It's more just like straight footage and like weird shit that happens to them.
Man, it's fucking crazy though. Imagine like growing up in like another country like North Korea, something.
I like what you're doing here.
You know what I mean? The golden age.
Is North Korea the golden age?
Yeah.
Where would you grow up if you could like pick a place?
Alright. When does Hey Arnold take place?
Pretty sure Hey Arnold is like mid 80s to late 90s in New York. I'm pretty sure, just based on like what they're wearing and the fact that his name's Gerald, right? He has like
Geraldo? Oh yeah.
He's a afro and he's like wearing Converse and jeans and stuff like that. So that's like
He's
pretty.
always got a boombox.
He's always got
Definitely
a boom. The boombox
New
is
York
like
90s.
Yeah, he's got the ghetto blaster.
The ghetto blaster is like an iconic image of like the 80s, especially
But I don't
like
want
in the
to
New York
like
80s. You don't want to
grow
die.
up in like Harlem or something.
Yeah,
I
but
want to
you have
grow
like
up in like Queens.
you get like flavor, you know? Like you're just like a better. Like if you don't grow up in like a shitty area, I feel like you're just like really bland. Like we're just really bland people.
Wasn't
Harmonica
Queens like
lives in Brazil,
like
but he didn't grow up in Brazil, so he's got none of that like BR flavor.
yeah, he can read?
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Being able to read is nice, yes.
Hey, is that why he has that like upstate New York accent?
Who, Harmonica?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it. He just doesn't like the way he says his R's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monica, say
nice.
R?
Say what? Car?
See?
Just say caw. What is a caw, Harmonica? Come on.
Like we're talking to Bruce Willis.
Oh.
Harmonica, where would you like to live? Where would you like to grow up?
Honestly, after living in Brazil for 5 years, I'd probably rather live in any place that isn't third world.
Is it
but,
really
like,
that
City
bad?
of God.
Like,
Jesus fucking Christ, no. Where I live might be Brazil and therefore third world, but City of God is just something completely different. That's Brazil in like the 70s, and I heard that in Rio it was actually that bad, at least from my parents.
are they from Rio?
No,
Oh,
we've lived in, or rather, my family has lived in Goiânia for an entire life, which is an hour away from the capital.
wait, like generations? Like,
Yeah, like I think at least 3 generations have lived in this city.
See, that's something you don't have here, like in the U.S. There's no like 3 generations. I mean, pretty rare. 3 generations of my family have grown up here or anywhere.
3 generations.
It's like
No,
half of the
I'm
country's
third
existence.
generation right now.
But you're not third generation San Diego, are you?
Huh?
Are you third generation San Diego though?
No, because they're from a military family on both sides.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's like I think it's kind of rare. Like at least on the West Coast, I think it's pretty rare. Probably on the East Coast, like New York and stuff like that, it's like standard that your family lives somewhere for like 10 years, or not 10 years, like 100 years, 150 years ish.
I don't know about 100 years.
That's like 2 generations, 2.5.
Is it?
Yeah, 50-50. That's a pretty
Yes.
like conservative generation there too. Like if your family's like living to 70 and having like kids at 30, but
Yeah, if
I don't
your
think anybody's
family was
having
like
kids at like
noblemen,
30.
live past 20.
I don't think many people are having kids at 30. Fucking the 70s. It's like a pretty recent thing.
My grandparents did. They had my mom.
Did they have any kids before that?
Yeah, but they were like late 20s when they had it.
That's pretty rare.
Oh shit. Hold on, when did your parents have you?
I don't
Late?
know. 18 years ago? I'm a young lad.
Oh. What about your grandparents?
Oh, I have no clue. Probably pretty young, I would guess.
You know, Justin, when I was your age, I didn't have a dad.
Okay.
My grandmother, one time when I was in the back of the car and it was just me and her there, she starts asking me if I'm interested in any women, and I told her no. And at that moment, she like coughs, looks at me, and she says, "At your age, I was having my second kid."
And how old
Jesus
were you?
Christ, chill, Grandma. I was 18 years old.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait, so you weren't interested in women when you were 18?
I think she meant
Well,
like a
it's like-
specific woman.
Like,
Yeah.
they have. Oh, okay. Really crazy. Imagine having a full family, like, right now, at your age.
Jesus fucking
I mean, isn't
Christ, I
this
can hardly
essentially
take
like-
care of myself.
Everybody's like what? We're all like 21, 22? Here?
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, like
less than 100 years ago? No, not even less than 100 years ago. Like, probably about 60 years ago, you'd probably be looking to get married right about now.
yeah, but you have to talk to girls to get married.
Do
You have to
you?
leave the house to get married.
Yeah.
Well, at least not in modern day. I mean, but back then you did.
But, like, imagine modern day, like, having a family right now. There are people out there that have families, like, married with kids. That's crazy.
Yeah, but intentionally, I mean, I just don't feel like intentionally that's the case of most people.
I mean, there are some, like,
Not in the US.
intentionally.
Not in the West, at least. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I guess.
I know
in
But
the
I
some
know
are
Western world.
intentionally.
I do know, or I don't know, but I know somebody. One of Jasmine's friends got married at like 19. Like,
Yeah,
no, there
that's-
was no pregnancy, no nothing like that. He loved her and he got married. But he was in the military too, though. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing that he probably did it because he was gonna get shipped out and not come back for a while, or maybe she was gonna come with him. Either way, he was pretty like he's kind of set. He had a job and everything. Military is pretty like safe job.
Secure, I guess.
Secure at least, yeah. But I guess it's not that dangerous to be in the U.S. military anymore. Overall, like
I mean, was
if
it
you consider, yeah, I mean, like you're still
Besides,
always,
like, in the 1950s.
I mean, during the Iraq War in Afghanistan. But I think like
But
statistically,
even
like
still then,
you're still safer in the U.S. military than like anywhere else because the amount of people in the
Most, like-
military overall compared to how many people actually like ship out.
Well,
Plus, like,
by
half the
that
military
logic,
is, like,
the
straight up
Chinese
office jobs.
military is your safest bet. They have literally millions of people in their army.
Yeah, but if you're in the Chinese
mean-
military, I feel like you're gonna get like run over by a car for like no reason, and just like weird things will be happening.
I feel like if you're in the Chinese military, you're going to end up doing security for some rich guy's children.
like Jackie Chan.
I
Didn't
guess.
Jackie Chan's like son get like arrested for like having like a lot of weed, and over there that's pretty much
Yeah.
like not a thing.
I'm pretty
But he had like a
sure.
lot of weed and other things, and he got like serious time.
Huh.
I don't think being in a Chinese prison would be very appealing.
I feel like being in any prison would be very appealing, though.
Norway?
Are you
I'd
kidding
like to be
me?
in a
Like,
prison in
fucking
Scandinavia.
Europe? Yeah.
Have you seen Breivik's prison cell? I think he filed a complaint for not having like enough internet access or something like that. Or
He filed
like,
a complaint about how the video games he played were for children.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's even worse than what I just said. But yeah, like I would like if you're homeless like in Norway, which probably doesn't make sense why you're homeless in Norway. But if you are homeless in Norway, like you should just go rob a place, like just get some jail.
Jesus Christ, Brivik's prison looks like
It just
Small
looks like
dorm
it
room.
looks like a Japanese apartment.
No, I guess I wouldn't mind being arrested in that case.
Like, even here, like, I think I'd rather be in a prison than homeless. The US?
Probably.
You know,
But
Brivik
like,
has more rights than the guy who got arrested for creating the Pirate Bay in his cell.
why?
I read about it a while ago. The guy that created the Pirate Bay isn't even allowed to have. I think it was he's not allowed to get new books regularly, and meanwhile, Brevik has internet access and video games.
Well, it would make sense that they wouldn't let the guy who created Pirate Bay internet access. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like he's not even allowed to have books regularly.
That's kind of silly. That's not even something that you would have here. I'm pretty sure, even if you're like in like maximum security here, you're allowed like a certain amount of books and stuff like that. That's weird.
Yeah, I remember people protesting against it online a while ago.
That's really weird. Breivik
You guys
is
hear that,
literally like. I can't think of
Go on.
a shooting in the U.S. that's actually worse than what Breivik did, because Breivik killed fucking kids, and a lot of kids, a lot of kids. What was it? Something like 70 or something?
Killed 80 people.
Killed 80 people and injured probably like even more than that. So.
I
And
actually think
he wasn't
I
like a
remember,
fucking
like,
maniac who did it too. So. He
I
was a
actually
guy
think
who
I remember
carefully
the
planned it out.
injury count being rather low, but the death toll was ridiculous.
Okay, so
I
that's
think you
kind of
have to
even
be
worse.
a maniac to do that.
I mean, he
I don't
went
think you have
there
to be a
with the
maniac.
intention to kill as much people as he could.
He's not like insane though. He might be like a
Pretty
sick
insane.
fuck, but he's not like mentally unstable. Like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yes.
He planned it out for like years.
He even plotted out how he would be shown in the media. He had a nose job, so his nose would look more Aryan.
That's insane. Like a
Yeah.
fucking maniac wouldn't do that. Maniac would just be like sucking on the gun and like shooting everybody. I don't know.
Still pretty crazy. Yeah. Hear about that shooting in Rancho the other day?
Rancho? No, I did not hear about shooting. And did you hear about the thing last night? Well, we were talking
What
about
happened?
that. I think.
There was
Germany?
like a road rage shooting. Talking about crazy people, you know?
Crazy people. I can't find it. In Rancho San Diego?
Yeah, apparently it was like over there by where the North Island was.
It's on Hamishaw and Hilton Head. Oh, there was yeah, it was. Fucking local news is so shit. I mean, like it's cool, but they like never tell you anything. Oh, here you go. This article's better. All right. It was next to the golf club on Cottonwood. So they got in like an argument, and I guess they just started shooting or something. Caesar thinks it's hilarious.
Of course.
You like Cesar?
I think I like Caesar.
Cesar's a good guy. We should have him on the show sometime.
I think the only thing Caesar's ever said to me is yes and no. He's a polite boy.
He said maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, now he said
And
K.
gay. I don't know, dude. What are you doing right now?
Me?
What are the meme talks?
I'm just playing doo-doo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess as much as I dislike it here in Brazil, I just had the thought as me and Alex are playing this. The most stressful thing in my day-to-day life is playing video games with other human beings.
Is it really
So I
though?
guess it could be. I honestly, I feel like if AI were developed to the point where you can really tell the difference, I would probably never play with humans ever again.
Why though? I like
Because,
the human interaction in video games.
I don't know if I
okay,
like it or not.
I don't know. It's just, I don't wake up, turn my computer on, and go, man, I can't wait to get called a faggot today.
Is that why you talk to us though?
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know why I talk to you, dude.
I don't know why I talk
feel
to
like
you either.
I would still rather be called a faggot and get yelled at by like some Filipino person than like play against bots or something.
Well, you can just mute the Filipino person.
Yeah, that too.
You can't mute a bot.
The bot will behave perfectly.
Bots in Dota are pretty.
Toxic.
They're pretty
Are the
dumb.
bots are the bots in Dota so well programmed that they know to call you names?
Yeah, they call you Kulo.
They're called Kulo bots. You know, I think it'd be like sick growing up in like a poor Spanish country, like because we're sort of like romanticizing all the bad parts and kind of like skipping over like not having food and shit like that because that's not fun to talk about. But like, there's like a certain like character that it builds. Like if you ever like, they were talking about this on the Joe Rogan podcast. They were saying like if you because they're talking about Cuba specifically, and they're talking about like how Cuban people are like really family oriented and stuff like that. And I guess you do have that like in the U.S., but it's definitely not to like the same extent. But like, there's like a certain like amount of character that, like people have from third world countries, or not. Like, is Cuba a third world country? It's pretty shitty on like every level, but you still have like food, and like there isn't like an
Brazil
insane
is
amount of
third
murder.
world.
Is it considered third world? I feel like half of
It
Brazil is
is.
third world, and the other half isn't.
Yeah, I don't think so. Aren't there like, isn't like the capital like well developed? I don't know, but there's still like parts that are like straight up jungle. But then I guess you can say like there are third world parts about like the US, like look at Detroit and stuff, you know?
Detroit's pretty insane. Detroit just seems like really out of place compared to like everywhere else. But I mean, there's a few places like that too, quite a few. But when I think third world, I get like this image of like the starving African boy. Like when I think third world, I think like Liberia or something.
I think I like Haiti or some bullshit like that. Like literally eating mud because there's nothing else to eat and you just want something in your stomach.
Is it mud pies in Africa like actually like not like a poor thing? It's just something that they do in like the tribes.
I'm not sure, but I know like in
I think it is.
Haiti it's like just to fill your stomach.
Because I think in Africa, there's certain tribes that eat mud. There's like nutrients in the mud, and it's like a vitamin thing. I remember like watching like a like National Geographic like tits hanging out and stuff, and they were just they're just eating mud pies, and it was just like what's going on?
Well, like, do you know where that was exactly?
I have no idea. Actually, I remember the documentary. It was kind of a we watched it as a joke, and it like quickly like went downhill and stopped being very funny. It was about women and their children, so it was like focused purely on like women taking care of like babies, and I don't know why there were like 40 breastfeeding scenes. It was horrible, but they were in some tribe. It's on Netflix still.
What is it called?
I don't remember the name of it. If you look up Mongolian breastfeeding, it'll come up, I think, because there was a part of it where there was a Mongolian child, and the woman was breastfeeding her child, in like the most bizarre way. She was like spraying him in the face with it, like not even aiming for his mouth. And I just remember it was me and Ryan, and we were fucking crying. We were crying because it was hilarious. It was so bizarre. She didn't even like aim for the mouth. She was just spraying him in the eye, it reminded me exactly of like those stupid little like tube things that kids have at the pool. Those like pump tube things, and they just like those things are horrible because all they do is they just get people like pink eye and stuff. Because all you do with those is like squirt people in the eye with them. They're horrible, but that's basically what that was. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. There was something I watched too like that. Oh wow. It was like in Sudan. No, I think it was like Malawi.
I feel like it'd be cool to grow up in like an African place that was like kind of like on the edge of like normal society and like actually being like, I guess not westernized, but you know, kind of like just caught up with the rest of the world.
Like in Nigeria or something?
Yeah, something like that. Nigeria sounds like a fucking nightmare right now, honestly.
I mean, like, there's parts in Nigeria that are like, I mean, most of Africa, they have like internet and electricity
There's
and
more.
stuff.
There's like most people in Africa have like phones or something like that. Like more people in Africa have access to phones than like I don't remember the like statistic, but there's a lot of people in Africa with cell phone service. No, the reason why I said Nigeria is like a nightmare because it sounds like Boko Haram is actually like scary. It's like really fucking scary. Because I know they have more kills, like confirmed kills, than ISIS really, and they're like technically the biggest terrorist organization in the world because of the fact that they've killed so many people.
Yeah.
Which you don't really hear
they
about.
Just operate locally.
Yeah, but they actually have like a part of the fucking country. Like they are in control of certain areas almost entirely, similar to like how ISIS. But most of ISIS's places is like just straight up desert.
Not to mention ISIS is getting their shit kicked in locally.
Yeah, whereas Boko Haram is like a national security issue. Like Boko Haram threatens Nigeria's actual sovereignty as a country because obviously they want to split it up. But
yeah,
I don't know what. I think it's the south or the north. I don't know. It's
no, they have the north.
The north.
The north.
It's fucking pretty crazy.
Do you ever think like how lucky you are to grow up in like the U.S. and rather like not a shithole? Think about that all the time.
Microphone muted.
Like, Harmonica, you live in Brazil, but do you ever think about how you're not like fucking eating mud pies?
And where?
Like anywhere, like in fucking Africa or something.
Yeah, I had actually just mentioned like it really isn't that bad over here at the end of the day. I mean, it's just a place that could be a significant amount better.
Yeah. Oh. Pretty crazy, like your odds of being born in like the US
Microphone activated.
and in like an upper middle class family. Pretty fucking slim.
But like it's still I don't know, I feel like it's just boring as fuck. Maybe everybody feels this too though. Like if you're like in fucking poo-poo Peru, right? Or some like shithole of a country, I mean I'm sure your first thought is like I really wish I wasn't here. Because I don't have access to food. But there's like a certain level of like culture and like brotherhood that you have over there because of your shitty situation, whereas like you wouldn't really have that if you grew up in the suburbs or in a middle class family.
Say that, and yet I wouldn't go outside and play Pokemon Go if I wanted to because I'm afraid I'd get robbed.
Yeah, but you're also westernized too, since you grew up here in the US.
Kidding me?
What's the password for this recording studio?
Don't give it to Sam right now.
Yeah, probably not.
When we're
but
done, we got like what, 20 more minutes? 10 more minutes-ish?
yeah,
Can't see
10 more
because
minutes.
I don't know where it went. But yeah, I feel like there's something. Oh, yeah, anyways, I forgot what I was saying earlier about Joe Rogan. They were saying basically, like, even though it was like really shitty in Cuba, that like there's something that Cuban people have, people who grew up in Cuba, that like most Western people don't have, like just the way they act and their like culture. And I'm not saying like Westerners don't have culture. They obviously have culture, but there's like a difference in it. There's like this sort of like survival culture that they have. Like they'll just fucking make do with what they have, and it won't bother them. Whereas like if you're American, I feel like most of the time you always want more, which is good. I mean, that's obviously like really good, but it makes for sort of like a boring or a relatively boring kind of perspective because it's not really romanticized. Like when you watch a movie like City of God, like okay, you know, they're all struggling to live their lives. They're struggling to fucking be alive, straight up. Like they just can't. They're escaping death every day, and it's fucking terrible. But when you romanticize in a movie like that, it's just like I had a boring ass childhood. I wasn't like shooting guns off and shit.
City of God is like, even over here, like, I guess that's like the difference. In Brazil, we don't really romanticize that. Most people look at the 70s and like Rio, which is when that movie would take place, as one of the worst moments in Brazilian history.
Probably. I mean, people look at New York like that here too. In the 70s and 80s, New York was like fucking
like Nicky Barnes, but they still like make like cool like movies about it, you know?
Yeah, and I think everybody who grew up in New York in the 70s and 80s has something that nobody else has. Like completely, like that's something that you can't romanticize that in a movie. I'm sure it was terrible, but like it kind of makes the good times a lot better because they were so rare. You know what I mean? Like it kind of like they're in New York or in the 80s and 70s, your life was probably amplified. Like when things happen in your life, they fucking happened. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, I got accepted into college. Oh, I broke up with my girlfriend. Oh, you know, like these just like simple like day-to-day things. I feel like it was just more interesting, and that's probably just movie brainwashing. Like,
yeah,
I'm
I think
sure it's completely
movie brainwashing.
Like, wouldn't it be sick, like, riding on the subway home, you know, fucking, and the subway's all tagged up, and there's, like, this little fucking group of guys, you know, wearing baseball uniforms, and they're like Warriors!
Like the Warriors or something?
So that never happened. But there's something about it. Like, when you watch the movie Kids, that's in the 90s. But there's something there. I don't know. Maybe you just don't notice it if you're there. Like, I'm sure if I look back, I'll be like, San Diego had something, you know, that nobody else had in the 2000s. It just seems cool. It seems like there's like an atmosphere that doesn't exist anywhere else. And I think New York is probably the best place. That and like growing up in like Ohio in the 50s, some like fucking Midwest place. Being white and growing up in like maybe not the Midwest, but like a decently populated place in the 50s in the US seems like it'd be really comfy. Everything's just so simple. You don't need to go to fucking college. Go work at the hardware store for the rest of your life, and that's like a legit life. Not that working at the hardware store is like a shitty life now, but it's a hell of a lot different than it used to be. Like,
yeah,
you can make a living
buy like a house and support a full family on working at the hardware store or something, or the factory. But then again, like that's still like most of the time those people work like back-breaking jobs. You think it's worth it?
Oh yeah, and but then Social Security was new, so like you could actually like know for a fact you were gonna get paid.
Yeah.
That's cool. You were like, I feel like you were more certain of your future in the 50s because everything was just straightforward and simple.
Is being a boomer master race?
Initially, probably. Now you probably have arthritis and shit, and your hip is like breaking. Imagine coming home and looking forward to reading comic books. I can't even fucking read like an article without getting like distracted. I feel like my brain is rotten from all the video games and movies. I can't even watch a movie anymore. Like, I have to be like doing like 5 things at once.
Yeah, I have like fucking ADD. I can't like focus on like watching a movie. Like I have to watch a movie like 5 times over just to like get the point of it, you know?
Yeah, it's horrible. Is it like a cultural ADD or something? Like, is this just where we progress? You're just like so used to having like 400 things happening at once. Like the moment that stops, your brain is like, I'm fucking bored. I just can't handle not staring at my phone for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Or like fucking watching anime, or I have to have something going. I can't like read a book. It has to be like a really good book. I have to be like sucked in. But I'm not gonna.
Or
pick
like a
up
good
book.
movie. Like
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too, but I was thinking like most people don't spend like I don't know, how many hours a day do we spend on the computer? Like 10 hours a day? Most of the
least.
day. And most people don't do that, but then I thought most people are also like tied to their phones or like tied to the TV
Or
too,
work.
you know? Yeah, or work. It makes you kind of like a zombie.
Yeah, like I just need to be like fed entertainment constantly. It's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
It's actually like really bad when you think about it. You feel yourself getting like dumber.
Yesterday, Reveal and I were having a conversation. We ended up doing the math on how many hours we've been alive for, and then we started talking about like what percentage of our lives do we think we've spent doing what, and I came up to the conclusion that I've probably spent at least 35% of my life, without exaggeration, staring at a screen.
Yeah, definitely me too. Like I literally have like over a year on World of Warcraft alone. That's just one video game.
I have 7,000 hours on Steam, got 3,000 hours in Guild Wars 2, and then this is not including like my entire childhood where I've spent my time with like consoles and Nintendos.
Even when you were a child though, like you still could kind of sit down and like read a comic.
No,
or,
not
like,
even
read
me.
something.
Like when
You
I was
couldn't?
like 4 years old, I was playing like the stupid Tonka games.
Yeah, but the
For
Tonka,
3
like when
years.
you play the Tonka game, have you ever went back and played those games? Or when you
No.
play Pajama Sam, I was fucking bored playing them. I played them again, and I loved Pajama Sam and the Tonka games too. But like the amount of like things going into your brain in those games is just like I feel like it's a lot smaller than like when you play like Dota or World of Warcraft or something like that. You're kind of like always doing something in these games. Whereas in Pajama Sam, like half of the game was literally you clicking on fucking rocks for like a spider to come out, and you're like, oh, the spider came out, and you're like, wow, that's so cool. They animated every little part. Now, if that didn't happen, you'd be like, fucking shit game, worst game of the fucking year, like stupid fucking whatever company, fucking scam, whatever.
Yeah,
Because
this
that's
isn't
what you
worth
expect now.
$6. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, on one hand, yeah, I've come to expect a lot more from things that are meant to entertain me. But on the other hand, I haven't lost touch with that at the end of the day, I'm supposed to be enjoying myself when I do one of these things. And I'm supposed to be at least attempting to appreciate what I'm going for here. I mean, I've met a lot of people who spend most of their time browsing 4chan or something, and I've met people that I swear to you, they go into a game and their intention is no matter what happens, I really want to come out of this with the ability to say, this is a shitty game. I don't like this game. Here's the reasons
Well, 4chan
why.
isn't contrarian. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, like, I guess that wasn't the exact thing I should have mentioned. It's just the individuals in general that I've met that just find whatever it is to nitpick in a game and they stick to that, and this game is trash because of this. I mean, there's someone in this TeamSpeak that I used to talk to a lot who I couldn't talk to them about games anymore because every time we talked, it was just the frame rate is X and Y, the hair particles were rendered this way. Come on, it's a video game. You're supposed to be playing it, not looking at the hair on wolves.
Yeah.
it's kind of I get what you're saying, because then like you sort of like that should be up to like critics to be like assholes about everything.
Yeah.
Like, you
exactly.
should, from like a
No one cares
consumer
about your.
perspective, you should be actually just looking to play the game or looking to watch the movie and seeing if you got like. For me, like, I know a movie is good if I got like a reaction out of me. Like, if I got a comfy reaction, if I got like an emotional reaction, if I got mad, if I got sad, something like that. But like, I don't
Yeah.
have to look into that. That just happens naturally. Like, I watch this. Oh, I hate this character. He's a piece of shit. Worst character ever. Like, I don't have to think about that. That's just the reaction that I get, and I think that's what you should do as a consumer. But if you're like a critic, no, you should be like, yeah, these shots are shit. This is poo poo. I don't like the fucking hair. All the hairstyles smell bad. Like, but
Yeah.
if you're like a consumer looking at it like that, I feel like you should just be writing. Go write a review or something.
I
One
feel
of my
like you're just
favorite-
destined
To be
to
upset.
just hate it. Yeah, just
Yeah.
be upset.
One of my favorite critics for movies online, like part of his reviewing process is that when he like makes a video about it, no matter what, he always makes it sound like he's having a horrible time reviewing it. Even if he's telling you this movie was fantastic, he says it in the most monotonous voice ever, and you just stuck like listening to him say the movie was great, but like sound like he wanted to just die watching it.
Yeah. Like he'll give it a light to solid 8.
And the whole time he
No.
was just flaming the movie.
No,
Yeah.
it's like that's the thing with movies. He doesn't like. He just flames the movie. He shows you one movie. He actually played a specific bit of it, and then he like slowed it down and edited the volume a bit, and then you could hear that if you paid really close attention, you could hear the director yelling action.
Oh yeah, I used to hate those things, like, 'cause, like, my favorite movie used to be Gladiator, and, people would always, like, nitpick at, like, that scene where, there's, like, an airplane flying above, um, the stadium, the Coliseum. They used to get me so mad. It's like, it's just a fucking movie. Obviously, it wasn't taking place, like, time and day.
I gotta look up this movie because it's about critics, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was talking about. I just remember there was one scene when most of it was comedians talking, because I think comedians probably have it the worst from critics, because it's such a it's such a weird thing to critique somebody else's like, if the crowd is laughing, you did your job. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, comedy's so subjective, and it's so like, it's really fucking subjective. There's like really no way to critique it. There's not like a right or a wrong way to do comedy, really. But
Yeah.
the movie was basically, I just remember a scene in it, and they were like, it was just some stupid kids movie they were reviewing, and the critic was just bashing the kids movie. And I remember, like, there was just a scene when they were interviewing like a comedian who did like a voice for something in the movie, somebody who worked in the movie, and he was just like, this is a movie that I would take my fucking 5-year-old to watch. Why is this 40-year-old man fucking critiquing it? What is his fucking business doing this? And I just thought that was like, that made so much sense. Like, I can't stand when people critique a kids movie. Like, when I'm talking about, like, I watched Finding Dory. I like that movie. It's kind of a dumb movie, from my perspective, a little bit. The animation was like awesome, because I don't know if you've seen it, but there's like parts. The point of the movie is like they're finding Dory. She gets lost again, and because she's trying to find her family, blah blah blah. And there's a part where they're like in like a museum. It's in San Francisco. Not a museum. It's like a wildlife. I don't remember. I'm fucking drawing a blank here because my brain is rotten. But it's like a place where they take the fish in, or like whales or whatever. It's like it is an aquarium, but it's more like a rehabilitation aquarium. So they would take them in and then release them once they get better. And then the ones that are like sick, they would like nurture them, and like if they're like fucking, some of them are like mentally sick, so they can't like go out in the wild, so they have to like train them to like properly be out in the wild. It's in San Francisco, anyways, or Bay Area. There's like a good like 40 minutes of the movie is dedicated to this octopus that's like saving them. And he's just sort of like throwing them around like in a cup of water, because they're fish, they can't fucking breathe air. So they're like in this cup of water, and they're being thrown from like a little like an exhibit to another exhibit to another exhibit. And I thought that was like awesome, like just from an animation or idea perspective. But a kid would think that was just the fucking greatest. right? Like but to like for me to go online and post my opinion about it is just so fucking asinine. Like you should just have like a legion of like 5-year-olds, just have them go review shit, because that's like when they make Finding Dory or Over the Hedge or whatever, or any fucking kids movie, or Ice Age. Like, who's their target audience? Is it that 30-year-old guy with a fucking fedora writing movie reviews on Letterboxd? No. Go fuck off.
The
Go
guy
do something
writing
else.
the review of the movie, the best part is when they sound so self-righteous, and then
they all sound self-righteous. You ever read the IMDb reviews?
And
Those
then you
people
go
are
to the
fucking
movie
assholes.
theater, and they're the guy, like the fat guy sitting at the very back by himself with his large popcorn. And it's just, okay, I'm here to show my niece this movie. I'm kind of just going to be hoping no one looks my way and gets angry that I'm looking at my cell phone.
Yeah, I imagine that fucking guy going like somewhere in like a kids movie where like he's just expecting them to be like, God isn't real, and so he can just tip his fedora in the theater. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just something like that. Like, what do you fucking expect? It's a kids movie. Like, all they have to do is say poo poo caca, do some backflips, and the animation has to be like semi decent, and that's it. That's a kids movie. It's a movie for people who have the fucking brains of 5-year-olds. What do you expect? What are you expecting
literally
from
for
that?
5-year-olds.
Yes, and to review that is just so like I feel like you just can't give it, like, you can't actually make a bad review for like a children's movie unless it was like just terrible.
Children's movies are really good too, because like they can incorporate like adult humor or like get an adult's attention, you know?
That's
you
the
ever
best,
see
right?
that? Yeah.
Like, that's the best type of children's movie, is one where the adults can have fun watching it. I mean, that's why you have people, oh, maybe not, but I think a lot of people still watch kids shows because they're still fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like, I can watch Courage the Cowardly Dog like today, and more than just because of nostalgia. That's just a good show for kids and adults. Actually, it might not be a good show for kids, because that shit scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I had nightmares.
When I was a kid, there were 2 episodes of Courage of the Cowardly Dog that fucking traumatized me. The Return the Slab episode just stuck with me forever. To me, that was like the scariest thing on earth. And then there was one episode where if the windmill stopped turning, Vikings, ghosts of Vikings would ravage the house. And when I was a kid, that was like, Jesus Christ, no, please stop. No, we didn't. But that was like, if you stop and think about it, a lot of the stuff that you take out of Courage's plot could really easily be turned into a legitimate horror movie.
Yeah.
I think the worst one for me was the hamster one. The gerbil. When he took them into his underground cove where they were doing like experiments on people. That one, like, I had like reoccurring like you know when you're a kid, you just like, your daydreaming is like fucking real dreaming. But like, I just remember thinking about that and just being like, is that real? Like, there's probably a place somewhere where somebody's just experimenting on people. It's like a 5-year-old. Like, that's a disturbing thought. Like, knowing that, or thinking that at some point you might be sucked up into a vacuum cleaner and then sent in a place where like you're gonna be like the size of an ant, and you'll have to be like rummaging through like dust bunnies and shit, and then like it was just such a weird episode. What were the
Courage
people
the Cowardly
thinking?
Dog received a lot of criticism from like parents and stuff because of the fact that a lot of the themes it focused on were just too real for kids. It's like it had themes of like human cruelty and such, and it was just,
remember the
people
mad
didn't
scientist
like that at all.
You know, honestly, I think that's what made it a really good show, though. Like, looking back now and watching it again, like, but that one episode where like, with the crocodile guy, I think it was. Remember that?
I don't remember. I can see his face, but I don't remember the episode. Tell me about it.
I barely remember it. It was like a puppet master. At the end, they like basically kill all of them and like uses their bodies as like puppets. Like, that's some like really fucked up shit.
Yeah, the Great Fusilier. That's the name of the episode. The Great Fusili.
Yeah.
This one was actually like, I watch it today and I get sad. It's probably the most depressing cartoon episode ever. At the beginning.
Which one?
There's two. There's the one at the Giving Tree for Courage the Cowardly Dog. Do you remember that?
Which one is that?
There's a tree that kind of just pops up in their backyard, I think. I think they planted it. They probably got it from the little gypsy. I like how they had an actual gypsy in the show, too.
Oh, yeah.
The tree grows in the backyard, and you could, I think it was either their oven or their washing machine broke, and Muriel went outside and she's like, I wish we had a new, whatever machine. And it just fucking fell out of the tree. And so they figured out that they could wish for stuff. So they wished for like a couch outside. They wished for like a projector. So they were like watching a movie. And Eustace was getting really jealous of that.
Did he chop it down?
Yeah, he planned to chop down the tree. And it was like a good 5-10-ish minutes of the episode where it was just Courage defending the tree. And they had like a little fort, and he built like a little moat around it and put like crocodiles in the moat. And Eustace had like a trebuchet or like a catapult, and he was just shooting like things at the sand castles they built around the tree, and eventually he cut it down. It was just so depressing though. That the music for that episode was just fucking terrible. Eustace is such a depressing character. And the other character, the other episode that was really depressing too, but it had like a nice ending. This one, that was the thing about Courage the Cowardly Dog. A lot of the episodes had fucking terrible endings. There was no, that Giving Tree ending was horrible. They literally Eustace killed a tree that gave them everything out of jealousy. That's like something out of the fucking Bible. That's how terrible that is. It's literally like a story with actually no moral at the end of it. I mean, the stories in the Bible have morals at the end of it, but that was this one had no moral. It was literally just like Eustace is jealous of a tree that gives them things and could essentially make heaven on earth for their little miserable plot in Nowhereville. And out of jealousy, he killed the tree, because the tree was like a person too. The tree was like God. It literally was like a god. It was just giving them whatever they wanted, and it even gave Eustace stuff. I don't think it discriminated against who it was giving to. And there were moments where the tree was talking, and it sounded like he was up in heaven talking to them, fucking peeking out of the clouds. So it was like Eustace killed God in that episode. And you don't even have to look too deep into it. That's what the tree was God. It was giving them things, and it loved them and everything, and they loved the tree. But the other episode was the evil scientist in the tower with the little legs, it had War of the World legs, and he was shooting these cannonballs into people's hearts to make them depressed, the little purple balls, because he wanted the whole world to be sad with them. That was probably the best episode ever, because the music was so fucking intense. It was literally it was in the Hitman movie when they're playing Ave Maria, and he's just shooting people. That was the equivalent for Courage the Cowardly Dog. He was shooting people in the heart with a catapult to make them depressed with these purple magic balls, and they were playing this some fucking symphony the whole time, and everybody was just falling over, crying and talking about how miserable they were after they got shot in the heart with the cannonball. You don't remember that episode?
I think it sounds familiar.
And there's a little rat too. He's like a big ugly rat, and he's the one he's cooking up a big fucking pot of these balls, these cannonballs, and he's just making a stew out of them, and then taking them out and then putting them in the cannon and firing them at people. I gotta look up the name. But that was probably the best episode, because it was a fucking movie. They had an actual a real Courage the Cowardly Dog always had a good soundtrack, but that one had a real ass soundtrack.
Man.
What is that episode? It's called I think it's called Unhappy Cannonballs. No. The guy's name is Dr. Zalost. He's Croatian. They gave him a Croatian name. This guy. Link it on TeamSpeak.
I always thought
had,
that
this
was
tower.
funny with children's shows, and they kind of used to make them real people, like in Hey Arnold, they had a literal Jew.
They had a literal Hungarian guy. They had an actual Vietnamese person who fled to Vietnam. Did you always think that was weird? That they included the Vietnam War in a children's show in a really depressing way?
Yeah.
Hey Arnold
and
gets
that
fucked up.
show is from the 90s too, so still a pretty touchy subject, even back then. It is now.
Yeah, essentially everybody who came home from the war would be pretty much alive.
Yeah.
1994 is when they made Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold was pretty. You can actually watch Hey Arnold today, and never there's no
Hey
nostalgia
Arnold
for
had a
that.
fantastic soundtrack as well.
It did.
Yeah.
Hey Arnold is just depressing. There's actually nothing good about Hey Arnold. It's an animation comedy drama.
I can't speak too much on the subject of Hey Arnold, but I can I vaguely remember that the series felt like it had a theme of acceptance at the end of the day. Just because there were a lot of stuff that they talked about in the show was just inevitable, and you just had to live with it.
Yeah.
Hey
And they
Arnold was
did it
about
for
suffering.
every character.
No, that show was literally about. It was just saying, or at least what I got from it was, everybody is suffering regardless of income, social status, race, gender, whatever. Everybody was suffering in their own way.
Yeah.
The rich girl was suffering, the fucking poor, the immigrants were all suffering, the white people were suffering, Gerald was suffering, being the only black guy in the show. Well, I guess his brother was in the show quite a bit too, but it's pretty intense. There were just so many episodes of every episode is the conflict in that show is actually real. People being jealous of their older brother or sister was pretty common in that show. Or immigrants fleeing war, families being broken up because of war, people being bullied because they're fat. But I like how they didn't they never overdid anything. They never made the kid who was getting bullied cry. And
They never made
obviously
it
they did
so
cry,
it just felt like they were trying to
there were no
shove
good
it
and
in your
bad people.
face.
There was literally no bad guys in that show. Everybody had a side, kind of. At least the main characters. There were no I don't remember what the fat Jewish kid with the pot belly. I don't remember his name. Was it Harold?
Yeah, Harold.
Harold was a piece of shit the entire time until you got to the episode where you figured out why Harold was a piece of shit. That's
Yeah,
something
'cause
from
he's
Lost.
Jewish.
Yeah, Harold hated his Jewish identity. That was a thing in a TV show for kids. That's so weird. I remember that. He hated being Jewish.
Yeah.
He was embarrassed by it and he hid it by everybody. Or he hid it from everybody. Aren't Hey Arnold's parents dead too?
Yeah, well,
and
they don't
his grandpa
say
would
it.
always spin stories about how they're out doing so and so, and he would believe them.
They're doing adventures and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, your parents are secret agents, Arnold.
Oh, they even had the stereotypical Asian girl who was pressured by everybody to do well and her family.
Yeah.
You have that today on an adult show. It's just such a weird show. I don't think you can you make a show like that now? I know the shows on Cartoon Network are pretty good and they're pretty funny and they're pretty fucked up too. If you ever sit down and watch Adventure Time, that show is fucked up. That should not be a kid's show. I mean, it should be, but it was fucked up. You sit down and watch that show, there's people just exploding. There's people just dying in that show.
In Adventure Time?
Yeah.
I haven't really watched that
The first
show.
episode of Adventure Time I ever watched, I think her name was Apple Pie or whatever, the little pig or elephant. And the whole episode was about saving her. And then at the end of the episode, she just fucking blew up. She just blew up. And I was just what? What did I just watch? The show is literally is a fucking... It's just lost. Everything is lost. No, but that show is cool. I like Adventure Time. But there's not really a story there. I mean, there is, but it's not like Hey Arnold or Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah.
There's nothing about Adventure Time that truly reveals the status of human suffering.
What about Cat Dog?
Cat Dog was a show about fucking interracial. It's literally what the show was about. You see the movie?
Rocco's Modern Life.
Have you seen the Cat Dog movie?
I have, but that was like 12 years ago.
Do you remember the part where they went to go visit their families?
What the fuck? What was that?
Do you remember the part where they went to go visit their families?
Yeah.
And they were
They
like
didn't like make
throwing
sense,
stuff
right?
at each other. They had like a war. They were like throwing things at each other. I just remember there was like a street in the middle, a bunch of houses on each side of the street, one all filled by cats, the other all filled by dogs, and they were like having like a war. They were like throwing things at each other and like screaming. That's literally like Cat Dog was about like interracial marriage. Rocco's Modern Life is pretty depressing too.
Honestly, I don't like really remember. So,
Rocco's Modern Life had a lot of like sexual innuendos in it.
yeah, I know that.
Like there was
I
one
remember
where
that.
somebody called somebody's house and they were literally like
It was like a
and it was just
a
like
phone
what?
sex line or something.
Yeah, and they don't call here anymore. Like what? And there was one where I remember there was like a MILF next door that always tried to fuck Rocco.
Yeah.
And she was making like a drink for him. And she
Didn't she like slip a roofie?
She put Spanish fly in him, which is like an aphrodisiac, in his drink. Like,
That's
and
what
it
it
said
was.
Spanish fly. Like, it didn't even like attempt to. Like, she had like a jar of them, I think. I want to look this up. That show was pretty crazy too. Yeah, she had a jar. It said Spanish fly. Oh, she had a bunch of jars. One said Italian fly, French fly, and then at the end Spanish fly. That show was weird too.
I forgot the name of that one
Microphone muted.
show, but
Microphone
it was like
activated.
interracial too. It was there were like a chicken. There was like a chicken.
Cow and chicken.
Oh yeah, cow and chicken.
I just the thing about Cow and Chicken that really disturbed the hell out of me was the bad guy, the naked. He was like a cow and he was just naked all the time, and he was basically Satan.
Yeah, he was.
That guy was disturbing as fuck. Oh, you know who was really disturbing? The bad guy from Powerpuff Girls, the transvestite.
Oh yeah. You know, like
That
confused me for
Yeah.
like the longest time. I didn't even realize it was a tranny until like last year.
I think I saw a black Twitter meme about it that revealed to me that it was a tranny. If you Google Powerpuff Girls tranny, he's the only thing that comes up. That thing was disturbing. Like, look at this. Like, he had claws for hands. He dressed in like he had boots up to his thighs.
Yeah,
And he just had like this weird
Santa Claus.
Yeah. It was literally like Satan as a tranny. I don't understand why he had claw hands though.
I remember watching a half an hour long documentary on the Powerpuff Girls. I don't remember why he had mentioned that character. He said it was inspired by something, and I can't even remember what anymore. I can't remember. The Powerpuff Girls had a lot of things that were just inspired by adult content. Not like pornography or anything, but like stuff that was made for adults.
Dexter's Lab wasn't like that, was it?
Yes, it was.
No.
It was?
Well,
Dexter's Lab had some pretty questionable episodes.
I mean, there was like the pothead, like, Van Halen, or I forgot his name. You know what I'm talking about? The superheroes?
Yeah. 8 naughty jokes on Dexter's Lab you probably didn't get.
Omelette du fromage?
Omelette du fromage? His dad has a private bathroom time. So that's the thing.
Really?
Yeah, there's a scene in it I'm watching right now where Dexter's father says to him, "How many times have I told you early morning is fucking father's special bathroom time, special privacy time.
Yeah, but he could just be taking a shit.
They made a fucking like a 10-second like announcement about it.
Alright,
I
I
think
wanna
it's pretty
believe.
stuck. Okay, look. There is literally written on Dexter's mother's ass, Dad's trophy.
What?
I'm gonna link the thing. Here. Like, it's written on his mother's ass. It says Dad's trophy.
Wow. Are you gonna drop a link for our listeners?
Fucking Google Dexter's Lab inappropriate and a whole host of websites come up about weird shit on that show. There's a part where his parents are literally having sex in the show, and all you see is their feet and they're like grunting.
Holy shit.
Literally says, honey, I don't think that's gonna fit. And then it zooms out and they're playing Twister. Come on.
Wow. I remember there was one joke that my dad explained to me that I didn't get when I was a kid. But yeah, it was an adult joke. But it was for like some stupid show, like Cat Dog. Nickelodeon had some really fucked up shows.
There's another list too. There's a thing where here, I'm gonna link another one. It's 7 Naughty Jokes. This is all on the Smosh website, so I feel a little bit bad. But 7 Naughty Jokes, Dexter's Laboratory. You probably didn't get as a kid. If you scroll down, there's a part that said "Beard to be feared." I think it's about the superhero one. There's a part where they're like literally throwing down a package of flour, and they're like, he says, "I assure you, this is 100% flour." And they're like picking it up and like looking at it and like buying the flour. You know how Dexter obsessively labels everything too?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
There's in Dee Dee's room, on her doll's crotch, it says Dexter on it. These are pretty bad. Apparently there's a joke too where he says, "That's no hydroxyl ion, that's my wife," and the chemical symbol for hydroxyl ion is HO, so that's no ho, that's my wife. I mean, that might be reading a little too much into it, but that's still pretty funny. And I feel like they would know that too, since the show was sort of like about science.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Did you like that harmonica?
Yes.
Harmonica got it right away. Did you get an A in chemistry? There's quite a few lists of these. I heard Johnny Bravo too. Ed and Eddie had a lot.
I mean, Johnny Bravo is a bit more of an obvious one.
Yeah.
The entire
The entire show is based on like fucking pulling women.
They're remaking it. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I feel like it's just gonna get like sexism, blah blah blah. This show is sexist.
Yeah, I don't think any of those shows you can like really remake.
show was about
It's literally about a virgin trying to get laid. The whole
It's
show.
literally fit.
Yeah, it is. It's Fit's show. Chowder had some pretty questionable things, and that was made pretty recently. Chowder's from like 2009,
Like 6?
I think. It's a little later than that.
No.
Buddy in your channel timed out.
I think so. 2010 was the final episode. Yeah, it went from 2007 to 2010. So it's about 2000. Yeah. That show had some pretty questionable things.
Like what?
Let's Google it. We just lost Harmonica. Hopefully he'll be back before the end.
Yeah, he DC'd from the game as well.
Rest in peace. Well, first of all, doesn't he like have like a crush on his cousin or something?
Powder?
Yeah. Or that other girl? Isn't that his cousin?
I don't remember. I don't remember that much from it.
You know, it was a really fucked up show, Animaniacs. Animaniacs had a lot of stuff that was like...
Oh, yeah. But wasn't that just like a show that was kind of like making fun of like Looney Tunes and shit?
Yeah, well, no, yeah, pretty much. But it was made by Warner Brothers, so it is sort of like their own parody. It wasn't like a third-party parody.
Oh. What about Disney Channel? Did they have like any fucked up things like that?
I think so. Most of Disney Channel wasn't even cartoons, if I remember correctly. There was that Roly Poly show.
Roly Poly Oly, he's the smartest kid around.
I like that show a lot because it just looked
I
weird.
used to love that show. That was my favorite show.
It's very
That
disturbing.
and the
Like, it just looks weird.
Bear in the Big Blue House or something like that.
I'm probably gonna watch some Roly Poly.
I used to watch so much like TV and like I think that's mind blowing. Like
So you can sit in front of the TV and not be distracted for like 6 hours straight.
yeah, like I watch my little brother sometimes and he can be like so into a TV show that like you don't really like know like what's going around. You know, that's he's like 4 years old and like a lot of kids do that. It's pretty
If
insane.
you're a kid, there's really only really only 3 or 4 like modes that you're in. It's like eating, sleeping, playing outside, and like watching TV or playing video games. There's really no other. You're not doing anything else. And you never did them at the same time, which was weird
Well,
too.
you can eat
and watch TV, but like
and watch TV.
no, but as a kid, you weren't like eating and playing. Well, maybe okay, I guess you were, but like it seemed like you were more focused.
Were you allowed to watch TV while you were eating?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to.
Unless I got in trouble. Is Harmonica dead? Or we're gonna have to do the outro without him? Was he was literally just like a guest. He was straight up a guest, not like a member of the panel. How long have we been going? I can't find the recorded
Probably
now.
an hour.
Probably an hour? This is a pretty long one.
Yeah, it is very long.
We started at 17:23. So we're actually like, this is probably the longest one.
Microphone muted.
Yeah. So, what, are we done? Harmonica's
Microphone
back.
He's coming
activated.
back. We should wait for him to do the outro. The reason why I like Roly Poly Oly because it just looked so weird and like it didn't look like anything else. There was nothing like Roly Poly Oly.
Buddy
I
was
really
moved to
like
your
the
channel.
Otter show too.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember it.
Disney Channel. That was a really good show.
PBJ and Otter.
Yeah.
What about Angry
Oh
Beavers?
yeah. I remember this show.
Angry Birds?
Angry Beavers.
Oh my god, that show actually had a lot of fucked up shit too.
Cow and Chicken did too. My dad used to hate Cow and Chicken. Like that was like the one show where he wouldn't like he would actually like not let me watch it because he disliked it so much, or he would just like leave if I was watching it. That show and that other show that was a kids show at one point and then not a kids show, and they rebooted it on Spike.
Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy, because that show was also so like Cow and Chicken and Ren and Stimpy are like actually retarded shows. They're great. I liked Angry Beavers too, but I never could catch it on TV because I think it was an older show. It was a little bit older.
It was always on late. My brothers used to watch it.
Yeah, Angry Beavers started in 1997. I feel like I never saw it that much. And I always wanted to see it. Is Angry Beavers on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network? Nickelodeon.
That was a Nickelodeon show.
I liked when they had, and Cartoon Network had this thing where like every Thursday, Friday, they would like have, they would show like all the best episodes. Or the newest ones, and I can't remember the name of it.
Microphone muted. Microphone activated.
It was every Thursday on Cartoon Network they would do it, and I think they still do it, but it's a little bit different. They would show old shows too on it at night, like in the later.
Oh, Boomerang. That was its own separate channel.
Did you guys ever get Boomerang?
No,
yeah, I
remember
that.
You did. I remember begging my parents to get it for me. They never got it for me.
I remember when my parent while I watched. My dad used to like the older.
You're
Watch
cutting out.
that. So, sorry.
Either you're lagging or you need to speak
My
up.
dad used to a bit of both.
Yeah, it looks like you have packet loss. Rest in peace. Try again?
Yeah, my dad used to watch that.
Boomerang?
Yeah,
Yeah, because they had older cartoons
uh,
on there.
Yeah, they had the really, really old ones on there. They had like Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and all
Flintstones and
those.
stuff.
They used to show those on Cartoon Network a lot too, at night after 9 o'clock, if I
Yeah,
remember
they show
correctly.
like Jetsons and stuff. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Those shows also had a lot of innuendos. Quite a bit.
Yeah, but I never like paid too much attention to it.
No. Alright, I think it's time. Time to wrap it up. Probably the longest one we've ever done. Probably the best one, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Harmonica, can you talk? Are you dead?
talk. I don't know if it can be heard though.
Alright, Harmonica. Closing statements. What did we learn today?
What did we learn today?
We learned. You're expecting me to say something about stuff we've been talking about, but all I can think about is the fact that I disconnected on the most vital round of this match.
Yeah.
We learned
could've
that Harmonica disconnected.
Yeah, we learned that disconnecting sucks.
Disconnecting sucks.
won.
We actually didn't learn anything today.
Yeah, we just talked about cartoons and being retarded.
We're proper
learned that
adult
we're
human
retarded.
beings.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that not only do we need to make America great again, but we need to make cartoons great again. Though it seems like they're making a comeback.
I heard that the Powerpuff Girls reboot was terrible, though.
Yeah, because they made it really ugly.
I don't think you should reboot shows. I think you should just make new ones. Because they have lots of good shows on Cartoon Network right now, like Adventure Time. And I can't remember their names, but they look like fucking Adventure Time. They'll look the same now, but they have a lot of good shows. The new Teen Titans isn't that bad either.
Is that the Gravity Falls?
Gravity Falls is on Disney, but that's also pretty good. Is it? I think it's on Disney.
Oh no, that's regular show.
There's
right?
Gumball, yeah, regular show, Gumball. Those are all good shows. I think they just keep making good shows, good new shows, and not remake shows. They would learn remaking shows almost never works, even though everybody should know that.
Yeah, that Teen Titans remake was really something.
You didn't like it? I thought it was pretty good. Teen Titans Go.
No, I didn't like it.
I don't think it tried to be a remake. I think it tried to just be something else. That's why I liked it.
Yeah, but it
because
was
it's a lot funnier.
I don't know. It was like a meme show that wasn't like my kind of meme.
Maybe. I just liked it because it wasn't like, let's remake the Teen Titans story, or let's reboot all these people. It's like a different take of Teen Titans.
I think that Uncle Grandpa show is shit, though.
I haven't seen it. Alright, everybody go watch Uncle Grandpa and tell me if it's good or not. It has 2 stars on IMDb, so maybe it's not good. Maybe everybody on IMDb is an asshole for rating a children's show, though.
Wow, Camp Lazlo got a 6.4.
Alright,
my dad,
on IMDb?
My father used to absolutely adore Camp Lazlo.
My dad did too. There's something about that show. You know a show is good when you can watch it with your dad. That's usually like an indicator of how good the show is.
Yeah, like Flapjack. You guys watch that with your
Could
dad?
not watch that with my dad.
Yeah.
I could.
I liked Flapjack.
That was a really good show.
My dad liked Hey Arnold and Courage the Cowardly Dog a lot, and Johnny Bravo. My uncle really liked Johnny Bravo. But that's because my uncle is like a living Johnny Bravo, so...
50's fine when you're 29.
Yeah. He really liked Johnny Bravo.
Okay, well that's it.
That's it.
Alright.
Harmonica, you gotta come up with something that rhymes with Oopa. Oh, no, you can just say I'm Harmonica.
I'll try my best.
Pretty cringy. Or pretty good.
Alright, I'm Poopa.
I'm Poopa.
I'm Harmonica.
Alright, boa noite.
Boa noite.
Boa noite.